we will be having a review on the different factoring methods. Specifically, we will have common monomial factoring. We will have factoring difference of two squares. And lastly, we will be having factoring general quadratic trinomials. All of these factoring methods, you have learned this one when you were grade 8. So this is just a matter of a review as preparation for our lesson about polynomial functions. Okay? Now, to begin with, let's define first what factoring is. So factoring is the process of finding factors of a given product. It is the reverse of multiplication. So for example, I'm going to be having 6. The factors of 6 would be 6 is equal to 2 times 3. So 6 is the product, 2 and 3 are the factors. Likewise, I can also have 1 times 6 for 6, wherein 6 is still the product, but the factors are now 1 and 6. So again, factoring is just the opposite process of multiplication. Now, let's begin first with the common monomial factoring. Common monomial factoring is simply the opposite, the reverse of the distributive property. In the distributive property, you have noticed that, di ba ato man i-distribute si A to B multiply A to C, and the result will be AB plus AC. And you have noticed that A is common. So we will factor A, and then we will go back to this one. So this will be our answer in factoring, and this will be our given. Now, let's proceed to the basic concept about common monomial factoring, the greatest common factor. So let's begin first with how do we get the greatest common factor of numbers. So to get this, it's so simple. You think of a number that can divide the given numbers. It should be the largest number that can divide the given number. For in this case, what should be the GCF between 16 and 28? Think of a biggest number, the largest number that can divide 16 and 28. What number would that? Okay, the number 4. Are there any other numbers greater than 4 that can divide 16 and 28? Wala na siya'y laing greater number nga makadivide sa 16 and 28. Therefore, the GCF is 4. 16 divided by 4, pwede. 28 divided by 4, pwede. So the GCF is 4. Let's have the number 36 and 48. What is the greatest number that can divide both 36 and 48? I heard someone said 6. I heard someone said 12. 6, pwede. 36 divided by 6, pwede. 48 divided by 6, pwede. Let's try 12. 36 divided by 12, yes sir, pwede sir. 48 divided by 12, pwede sir. So the greatest number is 12. Although 6 is a factor, but the greatest factor is 12. Okay? That is how you get the GCF of numbers. Now, what if you're given variables? Like this one. How do we solve or do we determine the GCF of variables? It's so simple. You just get the common variable and the lowest exponent for that variable. So if I'm going to have this example, A is common. I'll be writing A. What will be the exponent of A? What's the smallest exponent sa A din sa given? 2. You write 2 there. Sa B, common man si B, sir. So between B and B squared, which is the least exponent? B, sir. Between C squared and C cubed, what has the least exponent? C squared. Oh, that's how you determine the GCF of variables. That will be our GCF. A squared, B, C squared. Now, what if I'm going to be combining a constant and a variable? So, unahon na to ang constant, we will get the GCF, then after which, you get the GCF of your variables. So let's solve this one. Between 12 and 36, what's the GCF? Twelve, because 12 can divide 12, 12 can divide 36. What about the variable? So you tell me what to write here. Let's have the variable x. What will be the exponent for the variable x? X squared. So take note, sir. Common si x squared. Okay. What about the variable y? Y alone. Because, sir, mas gamay man ni ang y, sir, compared sa y cube. What about the variable z? Z lang na, sir, because z here has the least exponent compared to z squared. So, this will be our GCF. So to get the GCF, solve the GCF of the constants, then after which, get the common variable with the lowest exponent. Now, let's apply this over here. Let's do common monomial factoring. So, first thing, what is common between 12 and 36? What's the GCF between 12 and 36? You write 12 there. Okay, let's have the variables now. Variable x squared and x squared. What are you going to write? X squared, sir. That's correct. Variable y. Y cubed and y. What are you going to write? CY, sir. So you choose katong gamito na kung gamay ng exponent. What about z squared and z? Z, sir. So this will be the common factor between these two terms. Wala pa tamahuman, ana, because we are doing factoring. So you write your parenthesis. Now this time, the first term divided by this common factor. 12 divided by 12, that's 1. X squared divided by x squared, that's cancelled out. What is y cubed divided by y? Y squared. Take note, when you divide variables, you subtract their exponents. What about z squared divided by z? Z. Okay. Plus, again, I divided the first term with our common factor. Next, the same process. Divide the second term by the common factor. 36 divided by 12 is 3. And x squared yz is cancelled out with x squared yz. So there are no more variables left. Oh, this will be your answer. This will be our factored form. These are your factors. Are there any questions about example number 1? Okay. Just disregard that. That's simply the solution, but I simplified lang. Let's have more examples. Let's have this one. What is the GCF here? Because we will factor that out. Who can give me the GCF? Anyone? XYZ, correct. XYZ. Between x squared, x and x. Sir, si x, sir. Mo'y pinakagaming exponent. That's why I've written y, x there. So y, y squared and y. Sir, it's the variable y. For z, z and z squared, it's the variable z. So you just choose the variable with the least exponent. Now, let's divide. Divide this by xyz. What is left is x. Copy the sign plus. Divide this by xyz. What is left is y plus. Divide this by xyz. Z. Okay, and that will be your factored form. Okay, let's go to number 2. Now, what is common between 14 and 4? 2. The variable m squared and m. M. N cubed and n squared. Sorry. n squared. So let's now divide. Divide this by the common factor. How much do we get? 7m. So that's 14 divided by 2 is 7. M squared and m. That's m. Cancel out n squared. What about 4mn cubed divided by 4mn, 2mn squared? 2n. Because 4 divided by 2 is 2. M and m, that's cancelled out already. N cubed and n squared, that's n. Okay? And just don't forget the sign. Whatever the sign is in your given, just copy the sign. Let's have more examples. Number 3. What is common? 50. You factor 50. Is there a common variable? Wala. Oh, parenthesis. 50a divided by 50. A plus 50b divided by 50. B. And that is your factored form. Let's go to number 4. What is common between these two terms? 3x. Correct. Divide this by 3x. X. Plus, divide 9x by 3x. 3. And that will be the factored form. Let's have our example, last example for common monomial. What's common between the first and the second term? 2. What about the variable? X cubed. That's correct. I agree with all of you. 2x cubed, sir. Now, divide this by 2x cubed. X squared. Cancel si 2, then gi-minus ang exponent to get 2. Plus, divide this by... Yes, I heard someone said 6. That's totally right. 6. Any questions about common monomial factoring? So, there you have it. Na-review lang ta sa common monomial. So, just a recap. Solve the GCF of the constants. Get the common variable with the lowest exponent. Then you do division sa katong terms and the common factor. Let's proceed to the second factoring method, which is a difference of two squares. Take note, two squares meaning two terms. You are given a binomial. And take note of the operation. It's difference. So, minus ang operation. So, mo niya itong tan-aon always. We will be using this method if there are two terms and it is a minus. And take note, they should be perfect squares. Now, let's go over what this difference of two squares is all about. It's simply the opposite of the product of a sum and difference. If I'm going to multiply this one and this one, I'm going to be getting x squared minus y squared. And to get the reverse process, ato lang ang balihon. Automatically, plus minus imong factors all the time. Di na siya pwedeng plus plus. Di na pwedeng minus minus. It should be plus and minus all the time. And also, you need to familiarize these numbers. These are what you call... How do you call these numbers? These are the perfect squares or the squares or the squared numbers or the squares. So take note, these are the perfect squares. And these numbers should be found in your given. Because if these numbers are not found in your given, then you cannot use difference of two squares. Let's proceed to our first example. It's so simple. Automatically, what will be the sign? Plus, minus. Automatically. Sir, can I start with minus and plus? It's totally the same. If you want to start with minus, then plus, it's the same. Now, what's the next thing to do? You get the square root of each term. So, meaning, what is the square root of d squared? Your d, correct. You write d here as your first term. Next, you get the square root of 144. How much is that? That's 12. You will be writing 12 there. That will be your factored form. Those are your factors. Let's have more examples. Okay, automatically, that's x. What will be your factors here? Any volunteer? Yes, go on. Go on. Okay, so sir, it's x plus 10 and x minus 10, or x minus 10, x plus 10. So your classmate said square root of to get x, take the square root of x squared, that's x. Take the square root of 100, that's 10. Automatically, the symbol will be plus and minus all the time. Let's have this one. Automatically, the sign will be plus and minus. What is the square root of 49y squared? 7y. I agree with that. It's 7y. What is the square root of 9? The number 3. And that will be your factored form. Those are your factors. Letter C. What have you noticed with letter C? Okay, sir, 15 is not a perfect square. So if it's not a perfect square, then you cannot use difference of two squares. Hence, no factors for that. Using difference of two squares. Okay? So see to it that all the given terms there are perfect squares for you to be able to use difference of two squares. Let's have more examples. What if I'm going to be giving you 144x squared minus, let's have the number 25. So you will have, what are your factors here? What's the square root? Yes, go on. 12. 12x. And also 5 and minus 5. That's totally right. Now, what if I'm going to give you x squared and 100? What? Yes. X plus 10 and x minus 10. But take note. Look at the sign. Oh, yes. Dili. Very good. Sir, dili siya pwede, sir. Kay, ang sign, sir, kay sama na, sir. So, I am showing this to you para you will know, okay, kung plus the AC, it's not factorable. You cannot factor that out. A sum of two squares is not factorable. So if you will be like confronted with problems like this, what will you write? Not factorable, or you will be writing the word prime. The word prime. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, everything is clear. Everything is clear. Now let's go to the third kind of factoring that you should have a review. Factoring a general quadratic trinomial where a is equal to 1, meaning you will be given expressions always nga x squared, a squared, y squared nga walay numerical coefficient greater than 1. Or, 1 always ang numerical coefficient. So these are the signs that you need to remember. If the given is plus plus, the factor should be plus plus. If the given is minus plus, the factor should be minus minus. If the given trinomial is plus minus, the factors are plus minus. If the given trinomial is minus minus, then the factors will be plus minus all the time. So this is just a mnemonic device. This is just a symbol nga I make use and my students make use also nga mas dali nilang mahibawan ang mga signs sa ilang factors. But if you have other means of determining the signs, it's totally fine. Okay? Now, let's proceed with our first example. Now, with my first two examples, the last term will be positive. Unahon nato ang positive nga last term. So, the first thing that you're gonna do is determine the signs. Unsa may sign aning plus plus nga given? Plus plus pod ang iyahang factor, sir. Okay, next thing to do. You factor 24. What are factors of 24, by the way? Let's start with this. Yes, 1 and 1 and 24. Next to 1 is 2 times what? 2 times 12, right? What about 3? Pwede ba si 3? 3 times 8. Pwede si 3. What about 4? Pwede ba si 4? 4 times 6. So this is one technique I use. I make use of the smallest number first. 1, 2, 3, 4. I make use of that. I will not be like, mo jump kag other numbers, hangtod na lang ma-miss out ni mo ang isa ka factor. So this is one technique I use all the time. I make use of 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Then, out of these factors, what is the sign of the last term? Positive. It denotes addition. It talks about sum. So I will be adding those factors of 24. So what will be the first sum? What's 1 plus 24? That will give us 25. 2 and 12 will give us 14. 3 and 8 will give us 11. 4 and 6 will give a sum of 10. Now look at the middle term. What is the middle term? It's the number 10. Look at the sum. Which of these sum will give us a 10? 4 and 6. That's why I will be writing the variable x, by the way, because you are given x squared. You write 4 and you write 6 over there because these are the two factors that can give me the sum of 10. So to summarize number 1, you factor 24 such that i-add nimo 10 ang result. Again, i-factor si 24, inig-add nimo 10 ang mugawas. In this case, it's 4 and 6. Sir, do we need to draw the table? No. You can visualize, you can do it mentally. Next, what if it's minus plus? Let's determine the signs again. What will be the sign here? Minus, minus. Okay. Now, let's factor 24. We will factor 24. What are factors of 24? We have shown that a while ago. 1, 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And at the same time, i-add na ko. So I will be getting their sum. That's 25, 14, 11, and 10. Now, which among these factors are you gonna use? Why 2 and 12? Okay, musum up siya sa 14, which is our middle term. That's totally right. I'll be using 2 and 12. Sir, can I have 12 and 2? It's totally fine. Anyway, both are negative. Nothing will change. Again, to summarize number 2, you factor 24. When you add the two factors, the result is 14. Okay? Any questions so far? None. Let's proceed to item number 3. Okay, it's still 24. So, pero say, what will be the signs of your factors here? Plus and sir, pwede minus plus, pwede ra gihapon minus plus, plus minus the same ra na. Let's get the factors of 24 this time. So we have 24. List down 1, 24, 2, 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. This time, what are you gonna do with the factors? What is the sign of the last term? Minus. So you get their difference now. So meaning, sir, ang last term di ay nga sign maoy musturya is an indicator whether I'm gonna add the factors or subtract the factors. Yes. With our previous examples, the last term was plus. So i-plus na ko ang mga factors. With this one, the last term is negative, mo nang atong i-minus ang mga factors. So if I'm gonna subtract the factors, I'll be getting 23, 10, 5, and 2. Now, which among these factors are you gonna use? 3 and 8. So take note, sir, I'll be using 3 and 8. I-factor na ko si 24, sir, minus na ko dapat 5 ang result, 3 ug 8. Now, dili ta magpataka og butang sa 8 ug sa 3. Naatay i-follow nga rule as well. The bigger factor will carry the sign of the middle term. Which is the bigger factor sa 3 ug sa 8? The number 8, of course. And what is the sign of the middle term? Oh, positive si 8. Negative ang other factor. Kay kung imo nang balihon, i-negative 8 nimo, i-negative 8 na ako, positive 3. What is positive 3 ug negative 8 i-combine? Negative 5. Is this negative 5? No. That's why we need to have positive 8 and negative 3. Para when I combine positive 8 and negative 3, I will be getting positive 5. Okay? Let's have another example. What if both are negative? What will be the sign here? Plus minus, right? For minus minus. Okay. Now, let's get the factors of 24. There you go. Sorry. 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And their difference. So, gi-factor si 24. Gi-minus. We'll get 23, 4, 10, 5, and 2. Which among these factors are you going to use? 1 and 24. 1 and 24 to get a difference of 3. 23, I mean. Now, which should be negative? Which should be positive? Okay. Positive, sir, si 1. Negative, si 24. Do you agree? Yes. The bigger factor will carry the sign of the middle term, negative si 24 dapat. Okay. Let's have more examples. This time, I will not be using a table. So right now, what will be the sign here? What will be the sign of your factors? Plus, minus. Okay, let me write the variable x. Let me ask you this question. What are factors of 63 when subtracted? It's 2. 7 and 9. I agree with that. 7 and 9, sir, because 7 times 9 is 63. And when I subtract these two numbers, I'll be getting the middle term 2. Now, my question, which should be negative? 9 ang negative, positive si 7. So, those are your factors now. Let's go to number 2. What will be the sign of your factors? Ang signs at sa sign. Very good. I heard someone said 9 and 6. Let's go back on that. Unsay sign? Plus minus. Okay, your classmate said, I'm gonna write that down. Sir, 9 times 6. My question is this. Why 9 times 6? Okay, so meaning, gi-factor ninyo si 54 nga inig-minus ninyo si 3 ang mugawas, which is right. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 minus 6 is 3. Now, which should be positive? Si 9, negative si 6. That's correct. Okay, let's have our third example. What will be the sign of your factors here? Is it minus plus? Minus, minus. All the time. Basta minus plus gani inyong given. Minus, minus all the time ang factors, ana. Let me write the variable x. Now, what are factors of 16? When added, it is 10. 2 times 8. Correct. I will use 2 and 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I'll write 2 there and 8 here. Let's go to example number 4. What will be the factors sign ninyo? Positive, positive. Okay. What are factors of 20 when added? It's the number 12. 10 times 2. Agree ko, ana. Because 10 times 2, sir, is 20. I-add na ko, sir, I'll get 12. So, x plus 10, x plus 2. Those are your factors. So, again, the sign of the last term will tell you nga i-minus ning duha. Ang sign sa last term will tell you nga i-plus ni silang duha to get the middle terms. Okay? Are there questions about this kind of factoring? None. Okay, let's go to, sir, what if, sir, ang x squared na anay number? This will be our process. But first, the same gihapon, sir, ang mga sign? Yes, the same gihapon ang mga sign if ang given og iyang factors. Katong gibuhat ato ganiha, it's totally the same sa signs. Pero ang process lang is step by step nato. Okay, this will be our given. This is what I'm talking about now. What if x squared has a number other than 1? What if like 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on? So the process is this. Determine the sign first. Unsa may sign ani niya, class? Plus plus. Okay. What is the coefficient of x squared? 2. So I'll be writing 2x over 2. If this is 3, I'll be writing 3x over 3. If this is 5, I'll be writing 5x over 5. Do you get the first step? Kakuha sa okay, so far. Next. Ang sunod buhaton, multiply 2 and 9. The first and the last term, multiply them. How much do you get? 18. Apply ditong rule ganiha. I-factor si 18, ig-add dapat ang middle term. Kung sa may factor sa 18, ig-add di mo 9. 3 og 6. So, 6 times 3. Again, gi-multiply si 2 og si 3, which is 18. Gi-factor si 18, nga ig-add ni mo kay ang middle term. That's 6 and 9. Ay, 6 and 3. Mo na ibutang na ko. Dili 6 og 3. Now, wala pa tamahuman, ana. Kaya nga naman, mugamit ta sa common monomial factoring nga process. Look at the first factor. Nani common, class? Pilay common. What's 2? Oh, i-factor na ko si 2. So, i-factor si 2. What is 2x divided by 2? X. Bring down plus. I-factor 6 divided by 2. 3. Now, my question. Kini siya, is this na common ang 2x ug 3? Oh, kung wala, just bring it down. Just copy it. All over, do not forget your denominator too. Now, can you cancel factors there? Asay pwede ma-cancel? Very good, sir. Ma-cancel ang 2. Ang nahibilin karon mao na inyong answer. X plus 3, 2x plus 3. That will be your final answer for number 1. Questions so far? Sige, para mas maklaro nig maayo ang process, let's have another example. I prepared 4 examples for this. Okay. So, I will be determining the signs. What will be the signs of your factors? Minus, minus na. Plus and minus. Very good. What are you going to write over here? Kung sa may 4x. So, 4x, dire. 4x as well. All over 4. So, this is what I'm talking about a while ago. If I'll have 5x, then 5x over 5. Now, what will be the next thing to do? Multiply 4 and 5. The first and the last term, you'll be getting 20 for that. What are you going to do with 20? Find the factors. Very good. Find the factors of 20 nga inig minus, it's 8. Then what are those factors? 10 and 2. Which should be negative? Negative 10, positive 2. Let's do common monomial factoring. What is common? 2. 4x divided by 2. 2x, correct. Plus 2 divided by 2. 1. Okay, do the same thing. Is there a common factor between 4x and 10? Yes. How much is it? It's also 2. You factor 2 again. Divided by 2 ang 4x. 2x minus divide 10 by 2. 5. All over 4. Now, what is 2 times 2? Can I cancel 2, 2, and 4? Can I do that? Because you said a while ago, sir, 2 times 2 is 4. So my numerator is 4. 4 over 4. Can you cancel 4 over 4 and make it 1? Yes. So, right away, we can do shortcuts. We cancel si 2 ug si 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. Cancel 4 below. And you are left with 2x plus 1, 2x minus 5. And those are your factors, by the way. Let's have our third example. Okay. Minus plus. Unsa to'y sign basta minus plus? Minus, minus. Okay. What are you going to write over here? 6x. Over here, 6x as well. And what is the denominator? 6. Okay, now, multiply the first and the last term. It will give you 24. Unsay buhato ni 24? Find the factors. I-add or i-minus? I-add because the last term indicates addition. So, if factor si 24, nga i-add, it's 11. What are your factors? 6 plus 4 is 10. It's not 11. I'm not gonna use 6 and 4. 3 and 8. Okay, correct. I'll be using 3 and 8, sir. Now, sir, pwede ra bisag asa, sir, no? Kay puros man na negative. Pwede ra kaayo bisag i-interchange na ang duha, 3 ug 8. Now, let's do common monomial factoring. What is common between these two? 2. So you'll have 6x divided by 2, 3x. 8 divided by 2, 4. Do the same thing here. Is this factorable? Yes. What is common? 3. So you factor 3. And 6x divided by 3, 2x. 3 divided by 3, 1. All over 6. Can I cancel 2, 3 with 6? Yes, because 2 times 3 is 6. I can cancel out that with 6. So you are left with 3x minus 4, 2x minus 1. Oh, these are your factors. Let's have our last example. Last example. So we have 6x, 6x, all over 6. Now, ang factors, sign, plus, and minus. Multiply. You'll get 18. What are factors of 18 when subtracted? It's 9. 9 times 2. Which should be positive? 9. 2. Let's do common monomial now. What's common between 6x and 9? 3. Divide 6x by 3. 2x. Divide 9 by 3. 3. Do the same thing. What's common between 6x and 2? 2. Divide 6x by 2. 3x minus divide this by 2. 1 all over 6. And I can cancel out 2 and 3 with 6. You're left with 2x plus 3. 3x minus 1.